Welcome, one and all. Here we are. It is Adrenaline, the podcast, and our new time slot. We'll be here each and every week for the foreseeable future, maybe for forever. I mean, it's possible. I'm Kenny Nowling, the big head.
I am Dr. Fears.
Doctor, a lot to get to. We will go over the winners and highlights from the sportsman divisions at Dragpalooza 2023 at XRP a couple of weeks ago. Can you believe it's already been 2 weeks?
No.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, right now, we were in the middle of testing and just having a blast. And the countdown's on, though. Drag stock at the Rock.
Drag stock.
September
be there, be square.
30th. That is people might call that a cliche, but it's never been more true here because you don't want to be square. You want to be in the shape of a rock. See what I did there?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I like E.
We're going to be drinking
Daddy
some
like
new,
E.
we're going to be drinking some new beverages maybe by Rockingham. I'll be excited to share some more about that as we progress. June 22nd, 2023. It is Adrenaline, the podcast, powered by Fatheads Eyewear. And as always, all this beautiful furniture and everything you see throughout the offices. And one day I will give a tour, ADRL Nation. I know I keep saying that, but one day, doggone it, we're just going to get one of these cameras off the wall and we're going to go take us a little remote tour of this beautiful office that we've put together, the world headquarters, and courtesy of Selena Mikos and her wonderful team over at Better Office Furniture right here in good old Earth City, Missouri, betterofficefurniture.com. Go on there, see what you like. We are going to actually be listing when the website gets a little update this coming week. We are going to be listing all of our furniture here in the office. So you can buy a piece of history. You could buy the actual table that Adrenaline, the podcast, was done on as we continue to upgrade and wheel and deal. The OG. I mean,
it's a great table,
it
actually.
Really is. And it'll have a graphic on it.
Shockingly sturdy and heavy.
It's crazy. Everything in these chairs, man. These chairs. Everybody in America, I feel compelled to get everybody in America that sits for any length of time at an office. You know, they've got all these $2,000, $3,000 chairs and all this craziness, and it'll stand you up and sit you down, move you around. These babies right here, absolutely. I can't wait to put up a little fun video on ADRLtour.com because, again, everything in here is for sale. That's how we roll.
Always.
We sell it and then we buy new stuff.
Even me, I'm for sale.
Yeah, Dr. Fears is for sale. As a matter of fact, we'll start the bidding at
$500,000.
$500,000.
$100. What the fuck? I mean, what are you talking about?
All right. he got rid of his F-bomb early for the juniors joining us.
Sorry,
for the Sportsman
Earmuffs.
Show. And this episode we were creatively coming up with, and Summer's a drag, sort of a play on drag racing, obviously, but also for the ADRL, we have traditionally, when we had any sense, kind of taken the summer off. That's the goal. When you're doing 10 races, it got a lot more difficult, but early on, that's what our plan was, because listen, we didn't go, and a lot of people are like, if you came to Texas in March or October, you'd be a lot better off. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
You think?
we put the event together halfway through April. So we didn't have an option to go in March. But if you look back over the course of history, the ADRL traditionally went to Texas, Houston in you readjusting?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Don't stop.
I wouldn't stop. But
Don't stop. Get it.
Noise from your cord mic is blasting into these
way.
babies.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
No way.
Did you hear that? Did you feel the vibration, PA?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. I felt the vibration.
Something going on. So at any rate, but get me back on track, producer Adam. I was
ready. We're talking
Texas,
about
hot.
Texas summer.
Texas,
hot.
yeah. So anyway,
no.
anybody that knows the history of the ADRL knows that traditionally we would go to Houston, whether it was Houston Motorsports Park originally or Houston Raceway Park following that in March, and then we would swing around and come back to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and hit the Kennedale Raceway the first 2 years, and then the Texas Motorplex after that, and now Extreme Raceway Park. So yes, the plan next year would be to go to Texas in March, let's say, and maybe kick things off for the World Finals in October.
Yeah, when it's nice and chilly. I can't even imagine
chilly.
High 60s, low 70s.
Oh, can you imagine
low
on that
humidity?
track?
Oh my gosh,
things are going to get crazy. Speaking of tracks with great weather, not to jump ahead to drag stock, but I can't get it off my mind. Obviously, it's our marquee event, and you can ask any door slammer driver, Shannon the Iceman Jenkins, who's won the World Nationals in IHRA and the U.S. Nationals in the NHRA, said winning drag stock because of the level of competition, the size of the crowds, the prestige of it, and everything. That was his sort of marquee moment in a career that spanned several decades. And I mean, he's won in different countries on different continents. But so when you got Shannon the Iceman Jenkins saying that drag stock's a big deal, you just kind of think, well, it's a big deal.
It is.
When 40,000 people show up for a place that seats 15, things get interesting.
40 plus.
They crawl on top of buildings. They tear down fences. The stories are all out there. Google them. And believe me, they're, if not all, 99% of them are true. In that 2006 race, then 7, 8, 9, I know Gary Rowe with raceworks.com posted that picture that I shared from 2009. And that he climbed up on the military communications tower and took. Fortunately, we have the Fatheads eyewear drone now, so we'll be able to.
We don't have to worry about Blackhawks.
Send it up. No, I mean, they rolled in. It was a big deal. Steve Earwood, the former proprietor of Rockingham Dragway, prior to selling it to its new and great owners, Dan Van Horn and our good friend Al Gennarelli, and
super cool
of course,
cats.
Jim and Jackie Howard managing the facility. I just can't wait to get there. So at any rate, Steve Earwood went to a lot of trouble and called in a lot of favors to keep Gary Rowe out of prison. That was a bad deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just
and it
like
was
it was a
inadvertent.
Verizon
I mean,
tower.
I know it was intentional, but
He didn't.
I mean, did he
realize
know that it was a
No,
military installation or
no? I don't
No.
believe he did. But I mean, he probably gave 0 Fs because let's face it, he climbed the damn tower and there
We're
was
getting
no
shots.
tethers, there was no anything.
party at the Moon
So,
Tower?
God bless him. Karaoke would have never come to fruition had it not been for that. Just the dumb luck and the grace of God getting him off that tower, because at any point, if he would have slipped, it'd have been a bad deal. But
Hey, real quick, did you say
Fortunately, it didn't
karaoke?
yeah, it's his play on karaoke. So it's some of the
okay.
events that he
I dig it.
attends, the PDRA and different shows that he works with his photography company. He sets up in the back of his pickup truck. He's a good old Georgia boy, and he's got a pretty decent voice on him, plays the guitar, and just has a little karaoke. So maybe we'll have karaoke at Dragstock. I would think, given the fact that he has been the Dragstock webmaster for, or excuse me, the Rockingham Dragway webmaster forever, I would think that he'd be on the property, and maybe we'll have a little karaoke. And who will be on the property streaming it live to millions around the world? NC Pro Modder Jay Warren. And don't think that Bryant Mariner, my main man, and Henry Duguay, who's out in the Gulf of Mexico on an oil rig as we speak, probably watching in. Isn't it cool? You can watch Adrenaline from anywhere in the world. He's on an oil rig in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, 200 miles offshore, and he's watching.
Wonder how that feels, just knowing that you're out there on an oil rig 200 miles away from shore.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like a cruise the first time I went on.
Creepy.
Freaked me out a
Give
little
a
bit.
sense of connection a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, with cell phones and stuff, I guess it's a little different now. You're not so disconnected because you go out there for 2 months. He said he's doing a 2-month rip so he can stack that money for the beautiful car that we've been posting pictures of and sharing. That it is the last Tommy Mooney build. It is the last Jerry Bickle race cars Camaro, because evidently, as the story goes, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, it's not the first time it would have happened, but they can't produce those bodies anymore because Jerry died with the patent, is what I was told. So,
oh wow,
God rest Jerry's soul, longtime friend of yours truly and the ADRL. But yeah, so that car's got something special. Let me tell you something, Chuck.
Hello, value.
The airbrushing on that car,
It's remarkable.
It is. We'll throw some pictures up here after the show on ADRL Tour on Facebook. If you haven't already done so, do me a favor, click subscribe on the YouTube channel, because I've noticed that a lot of people are watching, but they're not subscribing. Listen, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. We cannot monetize all this greatness until we get to 1,000. That's the YouTube rules. I don't make them. I just follow them. We got a lot closer. We're approaching 600 now. We can knock 1,000 out of the air pretty quick. ADRL Nation, if you guys all just click that subscribe button. So do that for us.
Subscribe.
Yeah, like,
right?
Subscribe, share, do all
Comment.
the things that you do
Like,
on
subscribe,
social
comment.
media.
Like, subscribe, comment,
And tell a friend.
And tell a friend. There
friend.
you go. Or tell 10 friends.
and share it.
Because after all, we do give you the tickets for free. So the least you can do is subscribe to the silly YouTube channel.
Sharing is caring.
Come on.
Sharing
It
is caring.
So what about one thing that we ran a little bit late, which was fine because we traditionally do that when we have Clyde or Frankie on.
Yeah.
Clyde, great job last week. Our Pro Extreme
Ooh, I love
champion
that guy,
from
man.
Dragonpalooza.
Hot interview.
He was slaying it. Oh, I think I have an incoming message from the big giant head. All right. Carly Garceau, our Extreme Junior Dragster winner. She is in the green room.
Yay.
And, so Fears, real quick. What was your, I know ultimately, I would like your top three. Ultimately, the best appearing car was the Jester, Daryl Phelps, that beautiful Corvette from New Orleans with all the Mardi Gras theme on it and everything.
Ridiculous.
But what was your top three? I don't have the ballots. I know we passed them around and everybody
As
cast
far
their
as
votes.
looks go,
Looks, Pro Extreme.
you know, I am a heavy metal fan.
You
For
are.
those of you that don't know, Slayer being one of my favorite all-time bands.
Huh.
And I will have to say that I love the Chevelle from Hell.
I'll tell
it's
you,
just very
The camera loved
metal-esque.
that one.
Yeah.
That car in the Mardi Gras car, the camera loved him.
Yeah. The Chevelle from Hell.
Also had a great finish going to the semifinals. Ironically
Yeah.
enough, although they didn't win Best Appearing Car, they did win Best Appearing Crew. Fast Eddie Rogers.
Yep.
His beautiful wife.
Yep.
His stepdaughter, Amanda Hoover, who tunes the car as well. Her boyfriend, Chris Duncan of Chris Duncan Race Cars. Him and Amanda run that.
Super cool
They're
too,
also-
by the way. They're
yeah.
so down to earth. Like,
Good
Forget it, right?
it was great talking to them because I could just pretty much ask any question. They're like, oh yeah, you know, I got a lot to learn. I am learning a lot, as a matter of fact. But yeah, super cool group, them too.
Beautiful. So
My third, I don't know. Those were the standouts.
I think
to
there's
me.
one that you're forgetting because you mentioned it to me on the property there.
Well, G Money's ride. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the juniors.
The
I was
junior
just speaking
drags,
specifically. I mean,
Yeah.
look,
Our
you could
Pro
go. There were
Extremes.
tons of cars in all the divisions.
There's some beautiful rides out there.
Extreme Index motorcycle, 50, 560, 70. I mean, there was a ton of cool stuff. I want to bring up a photo for you, Dr. Fears.
Wait, who was it that blew up?
With a Corvette.
Kevin Hargett, the Mustang.
Was it the
The
Mustang?
gray. You talking about the blew up at the finish line, or
Yeah.
that had the fuel line
At the finish line.
At the finish line? Yeah, that was Kevin Hargett. That thing's slick and smooth. And
Yeah, dude, that's a
little
great
highlights.
car.
I mean, it's the opposite of like a Phelps car, right? Instead
Am I-
of having
am I
the
missing-
Chevelle from Hell.
Am I missing one?
You know what the
I feel
Chevelle
like
from
I am.
Hell and Daryl Phelps' beautiful best appearing car have in common? They were both wrapped at Kryptonite Customs in Oklahoma.
Really?
Fact. Best in the business. Chris Davis founded and rocked that company for years. I believe he sold it. I don't know the new proprietors, although I will know them very soon. And if anybody's watching, I will be calling you for sponsorship. because
Robert threw out
there's
Headhunter.
no
I'd
reason.
like this Matt
There's no
Black.
reason
That was
to.
going to be there. It is. There it is. Prince Adam, producer Adam,
What'd he
just
say?
knocked it. The Headhunter. You
Oh,
told
we
me
gotta
how
give that-
badass you thought. The
Oh,
Headhunter
yeah,
was.
I gotta give
absolutely.
props to Robert in the comments for that one. He's the one that reminded me of it. But
Ah.
that flat black look.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really,
for sure.
really do.
Who do we
And-
got hanging out in the green room?
That's
Oh.
Carly Garceau,
I
the
know.
Extreme Junior
rhetorical.
Dragster. It's known around the country as Outlaw 330 because they're literally so badass fast. It's similar to Pro Extreme. The reason that the ADRL is, and always will be an 8th mile organization versus quarter mile. We tried the 1,000-foot thing. We even ran a quarter mile race with the AMS Pro Mod Challenge presented by TLR back in the day. We had I don't even remember what year it was, maybe 05, I believe. We had a 14 race schedule, which was made up of 10 NHRA national events, 2 NHRA sports national events, actually a 14 race schedule. Yeah, I said that right. And then 2 ADRL national events. So it was cool. But these Pro Extreme cars and my dear friend and fellow brother in Christ, Von Smith, one of the living legends in drag racing, whether it be in an alcohol funny car, anything. He can ride dirt bikes, but he was a badass Pro Extreme driver, won him a couple world championships. And Von will tell you that you need not try to run a Pro Extreme car to the quarter mile because he did it in the Middle East on 2 separate occasions and destroyed 2 brand new, beautiful race cars.
I just don't.
He walked away from
I can't
both.
fathom how one of the Pro Extreme cars could manage to go through a quarter mile
Listen,
and
they
stay together.
they've
I mean,
done it.
well, but I mean, they're already at 220 miles an hour plus in an 8th mile.
Mhm.
like,
They
I mean,
come
obviously
apart,
you can
things
gear
start
them
breaking.
different.
Yeah,
you know, but
it's not safe. Frankie the Madman Taylor and Tariq I can't remember his last name, years ago at a streetcar supernational event here in St. Louis. The weather got right. It got late at night and they hauled ass. But again, eighth mile is what we are and what we will be. But the outlaw junior dragsters, the extreme junior dragsters, as we refer to them in the ADRL, those cars can only run to 330 feet. Because if we ran them to the 660, and believe me, I promise when we get Carly on, she will want, my feeling is if I ask her this question, I'm just going to guess the answer. She'd love to run this thing to the 660. The problem is the insurance companies would have an absolute coronary if they saw teenagers running these cars as fast as that car would go to the 660. So not going to do that. Want to give a quick shout out to my good friend, Randy Curtis. Have you seen photos all over the ADRL social media? Randy is just, he's a Texas guy, born and raised. He lives down near Extreme Raceway Park. I met him first at Ennis several years ago, and just a great guy and exceptional talent, absolutely exceptional talent. That was his photo that was on the poster, that was on the ticket, that was on the event t-shirt. And Randy, just if you get a chance, visit Curtis Racing. That's Curtis with a C, racingphotos.com, because Randy Curtis got some awesome stuff. You can go on there and get a picture of your hot rod, either racing or even in the winter circle. He took all the winter circle pics for us down there at Dragpalooza.
He's a very motivated individual. I mean, the fact that he was standing there at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, snapping pictures, I'm like, wow, this guy
wasn't
really
quite
is
that late. It was about 1:30, but I'll take it.
No,
I think you're talking about the part where we left after breaking everything down was closer. I mean, the sun was coming up. The sun was coming up. That whole thing was an aberration, but it's okay.
It's all good.
It wasn't an abomination, though. I said that inadvertently, and my wife corrected me quickly.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
like, no,
abomination
she's
is
like,
not the right word.
To
Yeah, no.
that great race is an abomination because it wasn't on any level. So before we bring Carly in, I wanted to go over real quickly from a monologue standpoint. We took some heat once again, and just keep bringing it after the event, having our rules in place of not being in front of a car on a burnout, holding on to a car in a burnout. I have no idea why you would want to, but there are videos going viral all over the place, and it continues to become more and more prevalent of people getting knocked down, run over. There was a video of a young lady whose foot got stuck to the track.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And the guy pre-staging, her driver could have been her husband, brother, friend. I don't know who it was, but he was pre-staging and was on her foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. And she couldn't go anywhere. So he had to back off of her foot. That's during the pre-stage. That's when the car is just idling and something weird happened. I see all these television shows. I see different race videos. I see footage because at the end of the day, you and I are motorsports junkies. If it goes semi-fast and is a little loud, hell, I'll watch the Tour de France if nothing else is on. I just like watching racing of any kind.
Yeah, anything fast.
Horse racing, dog race, I'm into whatever. So watching a lot of these videos and people are getting maimed, it's only a matter of time. And I pray that it never happens. But inevitably, when you've got 5, 6, 10, 11,000 horsepower cars burning out, and you've got people on the racing surface in front of them. So I'm just going to give a quick shout out, call out, whether it's a local event, whether it any drag race. This will cover everybody. Like Clyde said, do you know what anyone means? This is for anyone that's operating. Anyone. Yeah. Anyone operating a drag race. We don't have to go through all the acronyms in the NHRAs and the whatever. Look, from NHRA down, they should set the precedent first. And I'm asking you, my good friend and the president of NHRA, Glenn Cromwell, just consider it, because you are aware that it could happen, right? And if somebody, God forbid, does get hit by one of these cars under power and maimed or worse, it's going to affect all of us because all of our insurance premiums are going up, number one. Number two, do you really want to, I've had I'm going to say the displeasure, the immense displeasure, although it was an honor to do so, of eulogizing two of my heroes, Steve Engel, former ADRL competitor and NHRA Pro Mod standout, who passed away from injuries at the U.S. Nationals several years ago. Went up to the Cincinnati, Ohio area and eulogized Steve, presented him with a Minuteman, which I'm sure he would have won eventually had he not lost his life. And the toughest one was Mike Walker, father of Sarah Walker, husband of his widow Melanie Walker. That unfortunate nitrous bottle exploding in the pits at the Georgia Drags all those years ago in Valdosta, or Cecil as it would be, at South Georgia Motorsports Park. Two of the toughest things that I've ever done in my life, and I don't want to do it again, man. And we're going to do everything in our power. So keep calling me a control freak, an asshole, this, that, or the other. There are certain things that we just will never waver on, and that is one of them. So,
and just know when you see me in the box, I'm looking for wristbands, folks.
That's right. I mean, seriously, you shouldn't be up there if you haven't signed the waiver and you don't belong in the restricted area. And I have to say, hats off to the Ellis County sheriffs and everybody that was out there.
Oh, they were
Raceway
great.
Park,
100%.
Between our security, the XRP staff, and those guys, it was as clean and nice up there. And listen, it's tough sometimes because you go to a track like XRP where a lot of times during the weekly programs, they have to be a little more fan friendly or racer friendly. I get it. And it's the way it all tracks. But when a series comes in, and again, just blame us. It's real simple. We're the bad guys in this scenario, right?
You have no problem being the bad guy.
None whatsoever.
Safety is paramount.
I just want to get everyone, our goal when we first started this thing in 2004 was to simply get everyone home to the Thanksgiving table. That's it. That's our goal every year. Everything else is a bonus.
And we will continue to do so.
Yep. So for everybody that's sending the messages, just stop. We're never going to change it. And the fact that you want us to change it, I got to question where your head is in all this. So again, everybody that's racing at a drag strip anywhere in the world, just don't be in front of the car on the burnout. Just there's enough danger. There's inherent danger everywhere. I realize the car can explode like Doug Herbert did all those years ago. And the late Rick Stewart, former great NHRA starter, lost his hearing. Jeff Burke, his incredible former drag racing online editor and Super Stock and Drag Illustrated editor, and a great friend of yours and mine and the ADRL. He captured that iconic photo of Herbert's explosion in Pomona that could have been a lot worse. There were a lot of people that could have been injured that weren't. So although Rick did lose most of his hearing and they were pulling pieces of shrapnel out of his neck and wires and this, that, and the other. But Google that photo, Doug Herbert Sports Illustrated or Jeff Burke Sports Illustrated, Top Fuel Dragster, the explosion. I have a signed copy from Jeff. It's one of my prized possessions as far as memorabilia goes. And man, you don't want to be up there unless you need to be up there. And listen, I'm guilty as charged. I hang out and watch the cars up there, but I am nowhere near.
To that point, I still feel a little unsafe in between up there. I just think of
something can happen. It's a volatile situation.
A motor could blow,
but stay
right
off
next
the track. Stay off the racing service. Be inside of walls that should protect you. Will they always? No.
Mm-hmm.
Something can happen. I mean, not everybody that has a motorcycle wears a helmet. I have no idea why, but there's lots that don't. Cool. You're OGs, whatever. You want to scramble your eggs on the asphalt? That's up to you. All I'm saying is there are people that have passed that did wear motorcycle helmets. So you can be as safe as you want and bad things can still happen, but just be proactive. So that's all I'm asking all of our fellow drag racing promoters and sanctions and organizations. Just maybe take a book. You don't even have to say it was, I don't care whose idea it was, because I know a lot of people are like, well, they don't want to do it specifically because we implemented it first. That's an actual reason I get from a lot of people that have talked to people within other organizations, racers and friends and colleagues and sponsors. And they're like, yeah, that's the reason they get back. Like, seriously? I didn't invent the head and neck restraint system. We did implement it prior to any other drag racing organization, but we try to be proactive when it comes to safety. So I'll get off my monologue soapbox for this week, and we will bring on our first guest and only guest. I mean, listen, when you win the Extreme Junior Dragster class, ladies and gentlemen, Louisiana's own Carly Garceau, and I hope I've been saying that name right, Carly. Please tell me I have.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh, the etiquette. Love it.
Where are you at right at the moment, Carly? I see something that says Marine.
My living room.
So what is that sign behind you there?
Welcome back, our Marine Riley.
So tell us about Riley, because I don't know if you know, but Dr. Fears, my partner over here, he's a fellow Marine.
Semper Fi.
Thank you for your service. My brother, he just graduated boot camp like a month or two ago for being a Marine.
Yay,
Fantastic.
good for him.
Does he know where he's going to be deployed or stationed right off the bat?
He's in Pensacola right now for his AMS
MOS school.
MOS school.
MOS school. Yeah,
MOS school, right on.
That's great.
You guys are all speaking the same language. Anything from a fellow Marine to Riley out there, who's probably watching his good friend Carly?
Keep your head on a swivel, and I've got some sayings, but they're probably not appropriate. He'll learn them quick.
So, Carly, I was trying to find as much as I could out about you in anticipation of tonight's show. And I want to thank Mike McConnell for lining things up, your parents. Mike obviously helps coordinate the Outlaw 330, the Extreme Junior Dragsters. Have you won races in Extreme Junior Dragster prior to Dragpalooza, or was that your first?
This is my first.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how long have you been racing the Extreme Juniors?
This is my second race out.
Second race.
How about that?
Natural Born
In the
Slayer. I love it. I love it. So did you
Slayer.
race other juniors prior to moving into the Extreme Junior division?
Yes, I've been racing a regular bracket car for 7, almost 8 years.
There you go.
Wow.
All right. Now, do you are you from where are you from originally? I don't want to assume it's Texas, or Louisiana, excuse me, but I have a feeling it's Louisiana based on your name and your accent.
And your etiquette.
San Antonio, Texas.
So you're from San Antonio, Texas, but you've moved to, how long have you been in Louisiana?
No, we're still in San Antonio.
Well, see, so
Well,
guess
there
who,
it is.
Randy Curtis, all that love. I just forget everything I said nice about Randy Curtis. Don't go to curtisracingphotos.com. I kid. But Randy said that at least he thought so. I'm not going to take the blame for it, Carly. When I saw the 210 area code come in on Dad's text when we brought you into the green room, I thought that's a Texas number, but I'll go with Randy. He's the one taking all the photos. So Randy Curtis, I know you're watching, brother. We both we're both wrong. So born and raised San Antonio, Texas. That name Garceau, though, what's the history of the name? Do you have any idea?
From France.
France.
Canadian.
So there you go. So French, the French Quarter.
Mhm.
I could see
Yeah.
where maybe Randy thought you might be from Louisiana. You beat some tough competition, some of which may have been from Louisiana. What was your toughest round at Dragpalooza? What was the one that you thought, man, this might be the round that ends my dream weekend?
The final round.
Final round. And your opponent, had you raced them prior to that, or was that the first time you guys faced head to head?
We faced head-to-head in other classes, but not in the Outlaw series.
Gotcha. And do you remember who won those other races?
It's been bouncing back and forth between us.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to tell you, that was not my first experience seeing when my son KJ was racing Pro Junior Dragster in the ADRL, and my son Joey was racing Top Junior Dragster. We ran a lot of the Midwest Junior Dragster series, and what a great series that is. And so I had seen the Outlaw 330 cars before. We had never raced them at an ADRL national event, which was way cool. And we just actually, before I came on the air, I got the email that the custom plates are done and your trophies are going to be shipping out. So that trophy with your name etched in it, you're going to have an 80-year-old Minuteman. I don't think it's going to be your last. I'll just say that, but you're going to have an 80-year-old Minuteman for quite some time, as in forever. So you're an ADRL national event champion. Nobody can ever take that away from you. What did you enjoy most about the weekend? This was your first experience, obviously, with the ADRL. Give us your pros and cons if you got some. We always love constructive criticism.
Love the feedback.
There's no cons, but I liked being with the community and everybody helping each other.
Yeah, that's that camaraderie, right? That's something, and I've told Dr. Fears this many times. That's the thing that I think I miss them. Not that I think, I'm sure that I miss the most. It's a second family, the racing family, right? I mean, every time you go to the track, and then when you start traveling with the touring series like the ADRL, you look so forward to those events because you get to see that second family and you'll make lifelong relationships in this deal, as I'm sure you already have. How old are you, Carly?
14.
14. Where do you go to school?
Somerset High School.
Somerset High School in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, sir.
All right, Somerset High School. What's your mascot there?
Bulldog.
Somerset Bulldogs.
Got a question. How big is your football stadium?
Pretty big.
He was blown away. Every time we'd pass when we went by Midlothian, he's like, what Division I college is that? And I'm like, no, that's high school. He's
High
like,
school.
but they got press boxes and suites and jumbotrons and 40,000 seats. Like, I don't get it. Texas high school football, for those of you that have never experienced it, Friday Night Lights, the Permian Panthers,
It's
and that
the
whole
real deal.
story. It is the real deal. Do you make it a point? Is it a thing for the student body? I mean, is it almost a must deal that you go to the Friday Night Lights games, regardless of whether you're on the home or on the road?
Yeah, basically, want the biggest support for our team.
Yep.
So here's a dilemma. During racing season, you got a big game. It's your crosstown rivals, whoever that may be, for the Somerset Bulldogs. But you got a drag race on that Friday night. You got qualifying or something. Does drag racing win out over Friday Night Lights, even in Texas?
Yeah.
All right. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So tell me a little bit about your background real quick. Let us get to know Carly Garceau from San Antonio, Texas, Randy.
San Antonio.
What got you started in racing?
My dad and my grandfather both raced when they were younger. They still do. And my older brothers both junior raced, but they aged out.
Are they still racing in sportsmen, or the brothers, have they gone in different directions? Because I know a lot of times you can run juniors and you can even start some of the sportsman categories, but then you move on to different things. But sometimes when it's in your blood, like it's in mine, I'm also a 3rd generation drag racer, and my boys are 4th generation drag racers, so I can relate to that. But the brothers still doing any racing?
Yes, sir.
So it's a family thing.
Yeah.
Family thing. So if you had to imagine yourself in 10 years, you're 24 years old and hopefully out of college, any plans on where you want to go to college? I know it's a little early to make a decision. We're not looking to get you to commit to a university, but
Just somewhere good for a good education.
well, you got a hell of a football program down there at UTSA right now. The Roadrunners have been doing good the last few years. So drag racing wise, where do you see yourself in 10 years, and where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
Hopefully with some championships.
Right on. Well, I hope that you get the opportunity to chase an ADRL championship, because we plan on having you guys at all 6 tour events. We will also drag stock in Rockingham, North Carolina. I know it's a little bit of a haul there, but start telling Dad to put that allowance in a coffee can. She's like, I don't even know what a coffee can is. You're talking like way back in the
You mean
day.
like a K-cup?
Oh, she knows. You know what a coffee can is, right? You've
Yes.
seen a coffee can. Okay. A lot of kids your age wouldn't, but I get the impression that young ladies, I get the impression that, and I don't know what it is about drag racing families. They just seem to be a generation behind, meaning you have different interests than a lot of the kids your age. I mean, do the kids at school, do you get feedback? Were any of them out there to watch you win Dragpalooza?
No, it was a little bit too long of a drive.
Yeah, San Antonio is a little bit of a haul. What is it about? How many hours?
5 hours.
5. Yeah, it's a little bit far. So, but listen, now that you're a Dragpalooza champion, next year when you come back to defend the championship, it'll be earlier in the year. It'll be a little bit cooler. Don't be surprised if they don't load a couple of buses up and caravan up to watch their hometown girls. So, well, listen, Carly, I cannot thank you enough for joining us. You did such a great job in your Winner's Circle interview, and I'll give you the platform for a second just to maybe thank some of your sponsors and the people that helped get you there.
I like to thank 665 Works for providing me with all the necessities to race, and Mike McConnell for getting the series put together so we can all race and have fun, and the Extreme staff for keeping us safe and giving us a track to race on, and ADRL for helping put on the race. So yes, thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Very
Well, we
good
loved
stuff.
having you guys. And Dr. Fears, anything in closing for Carly?
I don't. Congratulations, Carly. It's
Thank
awesome
you.
to see your I shouldn't say perseverance, but just your fortitude and getting out there and just racing the hell out of that thing. It's pretty awesome.
Did a great job all weekend. And
For
again,
sure.
We throw the term future star around a lot, but I see that in you. You're very articulate in the way that you speak. You can tell that you apply yourself in your craft. And I think your ADRL future and your drag racing future, period, is very bright. And we were honored to have you and your family. And apologies to all your fellow San Antonians who are right now sending us hate mail saying, how dare you say Carly's from Louisiana? So anyway, and again, thank you to your friend Riley for his service. Am I saying that right? Because Riley could be a boy or a girl.
Yes, brother.
Brother. Oh, it's your brother.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
there you go.
Got a
See,
jarhead
she was
in the
kind of being,
family.
yeah, she was
Very
kind
nice.
of being a little coy about that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well,
So,
that says a lot about your parents. Not only
it
do they have
absolutely
a
does.
great racer, champion racer, they also got a champion son heading off to the Marines,
Yep.
being one of the Days of the world.
Semper Fidelis. So
Semper Fidelis.
They
All right,
both
Carly.
retired from the military.
What
Wow.
was that? What'd you say, Carly?
Both of my parents are veterans.
Oh,
Thank-
hey, that's great.
thank them for their service
Yeah,
for us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder why you're being raised so wonderfully. So Carly, you represented the ADRL and continue to do so in such a great way. And I just want to thank you on behalf of Ryan and the entire staff at the ADRL. Everybody was just talking about, even though it was a little later in the night, thanks to the 3-hour rain delay than we wanted to be, you were still giving it. Yeah, man. As Al Tucci, the voice of the ADRL, says, give you a heck yeah. So heck yeah to you. So thanks for coming on. And we hope to have you back. You never know. You might just roll down to Dragstock September 29th and 30th at the Rock. You could double up and, you need bookends now. You got one end of the mantle. You got to get that other Minuteman trophy so that you can have bookends. And it's interesting because being a family from the military, the Minuteman is recognized as the first soldiers of the United States military. And the reason, you may already know this because you're a military brat, we'll say, but the Minuteman was derived, the term was derived from the fact that you were on your plow 1 minute, which is why there's a plow standing next to the Minuteman holding the gun. And in just a minute during the Revolutionary War, people would come across that hill and you had to fight for your freedom, your family, and your farm instantaneously in a minute. So we're honored that we continue to carry on that tradition, and makes me feel great to know that a military family is going to have one sitting on the mantle forever. So congratulations again. Great job, kiddo.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Look forward to seeing you again. Ladies and gentlemen, your Extreme Junior Dragster winner, Carly Garceau.
Yay, Carly. Woo. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
She is she is bound for stardom, that girl there.
Oh yeah.
She can talk, she knew how to thank her sponsors. I mean, she's
got the etiquette.
It's real simple. I say this all the time. A lot of the world's problems can be solved at the supper table. That's a family, much like ours, that eat together at the supper table.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important thing, and I wish more people did it. So our other winners from the Dragpalooza 2023 at Extreme Raceway Park, Stream Index Motorcycle, Papa Freeman. He helps organize that deal, and he got it done. He's got a trophy on the way too with his name engraved on it. He got one of the two big Minutemen. Of course, Clyde Scott picking up the other one. The 5.0 Index winner, Justin Risk. And I got to tell you, cool car, cool kid, and just goes out there. And I followed up after looking at all the winners from Dragpalooza. I followed up and went to their social media and read up about them and Googled them and stuff. Kid's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't his first rodeo.
No,
I promise.
And he's a super cool guy too.
Yes, super cool guy. Speaking of super cool guys, Heath Phillips, another big winner in the index categories, did a great job driving all weekend. Cool story in the 7.0 index class. Cody McLean, the winner. Brian McLean, the runner-up. Brian McLean is a former Dragpalooza winner, Cody's dad. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. So they were both in the winner's circle with their truck and their Monza. They had a Chevy, the blue S10, I believe. Cody won in, and then Brian's awesome silver Monza.
That Monza is pretty sweet.
One of the cars we talked about a lot.
Yep.
And then, of course, in our all-run junior dragster class, Scarlett Lund. Beautiful car, beautiful family, wonderful people. Scarlett drove the wheels off of that thing. And in that category in particular, you have to have killer lights. I mean, if you don't have good lights all day, you're not going to get any freebies. And Scarlett was on the tree all day, and I wasn't shocked at all early on. As a matter of fact, Al Tucci and I start, kind of talking about who we think might go the distance in some of these categories. And we both had Scarlett as an early pick to go a long way, and she went all the way and took home the Minuteman. So Congratulations to all of our sportsman winners. It was an awesome, awesome time down at XRP. And as we put the finishing touches on a great Dragpalooza event, you know what's next? A little summer break. Well, at least a summer break for the racers, but we're busy. Our marketing offices are wide open right now, trying to field sponsorship calls and make meetings and set appointments. But it was crazy good stuff. Jason Byers, I will do that as soon as we get off the air, brother. Robert Lohr. Oh yeah. Don't forget the parts flying backwards during the burnout. We've seen that. Yes, we did. Martin, Michigan, man. Bob Mandel III and his Oldsmobile Cutlass, former, I think it might have been a pro stock car, but anyway, he was racing at Top Sportsman at Martin, Michigan, and a gear came off. I believe the timing chain, you know, I'm not the mechanic, so something came off. I believe it was a gear and went under. It was only the size of maybe a silver dollar. I say only, but hit the back tire, flew, and Jason Scruggs, their family friend Ricky, and Jason's his late grandfather were sitting on the golf cart, and it went right between Mitchell Scruggs. Jason's father was standing up on the back of the golf cart watching, and they were over off to the left, not even really in harm's way, but it just spun, went right into his chest. Travis Swearingen, former ADRL Pro Extreme standout, the driver of the Junkyard Willis and the National Guard Willis for a few years. His family, his wife Carly and dad Alan and mom Barb. Alan jumped as a former Vietnam vet. Alan jumped right in there and put pressure on the wound. And unfortunately, Mitchell walked away with a real sore chest for the ride back to Mississippi, but he left with his life. So lots of dangerous stuff happening. And you're welcome, Carly Garceau. Thank you for coming on. Jody Cernak, what happened, man? I had you in the pool, bro. I had Jody in the pool. I thought the Vega was going to go the distance. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at the sheets and see why you went out. Or you could just chime in and tell me real quick. Were you late on the tree? Did you take a nap? Did you take too much stripe? Did you give up the stripe? Tell me what happened, Jody, because I had you in the pool. And I'm not going to say you let me down, but you kind of did, buddy. Just, you know, it is what it is. But drag stock 2023.
Drag stock.
God, at the Rock. I just so many memories, so many stories, so many fables. I guess some of them, you know, they grow over the years. But the things that are undeniable, as Brett Kepner, the great Brett Kepner, said during the ESPN2 telecast of that event, standing right on the tower with a massive humanity behind him. 2006 drag stock, the first free ticket event, changed drag racing promotion forever and accelerated our growth even during we were looking at that CNBC article earlier today that Darren Ravel wrote back in 2009. And it transcended drag racing and the promotion of drag racing, and other people have duplicated it, some with success, some without. But as I say too often, it's not rocket science, but there is a science to it. So, and we learned that. And the one thing that you can't control is that weather. But believe me, when I look at the weather patterns for Rockingham, North Carolina, Richmond County, I want to give a shout out to Emily Tucker, the Richmond County Chamber of Commerce and Richmond County Tourism. She's been there since that 2006 event, and she is still, I'm just telling you, she is so phenomenal at her job. I'm not shocked that she's still in that position and that she's grown their community the way that she has, and she spearheads the Richmond County Tourism, and they are very aware of the fact that Rockingham Dragway is the centerpiece of Richmond County as far as entertainment, as far as revenue. The great Steve Earwood, the former owner of Rockingham Dragway, just incredible, absolutely incredible what he did to build that place, and he sold it to the right people. It's in good hands. Dan Van Horn and Al Gennarelli with Jackie and Jim Howard managing it. They got the right people in place, and I can't wait to get down there. They had some pro stock testing this week. I talked to some of those guys that made laps, and they said, Kenny, this track is, you know, we're salivating to turn on the live stream come September 29th and 30th, because that nighttime qualifier, held the afternoon qualifier, the early evening qualifier is going to be insane. the nighttime qualifier, Friday night, September the 29th, there is nothing you could offer me. You could offer me free tickets to Garth Brooks. You could offer me free tickets to U2. You could offer me a trip to Ireland, my homeland, Super Bowl. Even if the Dallas Cowboys were in it and favored to win it, I'm not missing that Friday night session for anything.
Amen.
Not the birth of a child, not the wedding of a family member. I hope nobody passes away that I'm close to around that time. My apologies in advance for missing the send-off, but no way, man. Friday night, September the 29th, I will be glued to the Rockingham Dragway surface and that 800 feet of wall-to-wall concrete that Dan and Alan, Jim and Jackie poured, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Having Tucci back, my highlight of Dragpalooza, I've said many times, having him back at the Rock and announcing that event, having my son KJ potentially competing. Speaking of which, before I forget, Bobby Don, aka the Godfather, in his awesome V6 twin turbo category 6, it's called. You get it? Play on words, not like category 5. Because there's a hurricane coming to Rockingham. It's due to hit landfall on September 29th.
Mm-hmm.
It's Hurricane Adrenaline, baby. So don't worry about anything coming off the ocean. Worry about what's coming down that concrete at 230 miles per hour. Because you know that's where both those records were set. The quickest and fastest. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. And they're already knocking on the door.
Oh, it's coming. I mean, listen, I'm, again, not a mechanical guy, but talking with guys, you know, this will make sense to a lot more people than it does me. But the water grains were approaching 130 in Texas. You had 130 plus degree track temperature, which Galen Smith and his staff and the crew at XRP had on kill all weekend long.
They did. They killed it.
Despite the constant changing in the atmospheric conditions. They slayed it. And Clyde, Bubba, Frankie all showed you can run 355 in 100 degree temperature. I think the corrected altitude was 3,500 feet plus. What that means to me is, just in layman's terms, if it's 3,500 there, it could be negative 600-800. So you could have a swing of 4,000 feet in the corrected altitude. So take all that stuff and put it together. And all that means is it is going to be what we refer to in drag racing as mine shaft conditions. And you're going to see some things if you think, and I know Dragpalooza blew you away, and it was so awesome to see you and your family and your brothers, your mom, Bonnie, your stepdad, Danny, everybody was out there. Justin, Nikki, Jake, Luke, Cody. I mean, I could just go on and on. There were fears falling out of the trees down there.
Coming out of the woods.
Your wife, your in-laws, everybody. And I know you guys were so impressed, and it was cool to see that, you know, that first sort of, oh my gosh, because you've been around it before, but
sure,
it was just a different point of view. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say.
And wow, wait till you get to the Rock. And that's not, listen, wait till you get to XRP next spring. It'll be the same way. Just two of the best drag racing surfaces on the planet. Drag stock, the Rock, historic. XRP and Dragpalooza will very soon have that same recognition. But right now, man, I'm counting the days. I don't know. I specifically instructed Jess, do not put a countdown on the website yet. Please, darling, don't do that. Because if you do, Jason Byers, you're coming to Dragstock. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. Byers, I promise you, I love you. I love your mom. I love your dog, that beautiful black, sweet. Don't tease me, brother. Don't tease me and say that you're coming and don't show up. I want you there. I need you there, man. Al Tucci, Madman, and the Mississippi Missile. I mean, listen, they're going to be coming out of the woodworks. Big announcement on next week's show. Our guest will be ADRL superstar, and he's kicking ass over in Pro Boost and Pro Nitrous right now. The Carolina Kid, Travis Harvey, joining us next Thursday. I got it used to saying Thursday. Next Thursday night, right here on Adrenaline, the podcast. That'll be episode 10, and what a perfect way to do it. The Carolina Kid, who has had a tremendous amount of success in every form of racing. I've said it many times. He would be in the top 3 or the Mount Rushmore of anybody's list right now. Argue with me. Give me 4 other names that I'm not thinking of. Travis Harvey, and that's the reason he's driving in 2 pro classes right now, and will probably be in Pro Extreme and in Pro Nitrous at Dragstock. But let me tell you something. He and his partner Lance Stafford and you and I are putting something together with their Carolina No time,
Mhm.
small tire series. Just get ready.
Be prepared.
Things could be awesome, and Jason Byers will be there to see it in person. So, yeah, Bob Galletti, man, what an awesome story, man. He kicks cancer's ass. He goes out and his great family, the Galettis need no introduction, but Bob Galletti, that badass truck, he raced the wheels off of that thing too. So it was awesome. So I'm just telling you right now, Drag Stock 2023, it's the 20th anniversary edition. 20 years ago, the ADRL was born at Carolina Dragway, the House of Hook in Jackson, South Carolina. And the Miles family invited us in there, and we went down there, and along with Mr. Dent and the rest of the crew, Jeff and Angel and everybody. What was your favorite memory, Tucci? I want you to pop it up there real quick. Just give me one. I know there's lots of them. Give me one of your favorite memories from the original Drag Stock while we get ready to wrap up tonight's show. I was while he comes up with that, because he's got a litany of things to go through. KJ Nowling, former drag stock winner and pro junior dragster, could be making his big tire ADRL debut. He's raced with Uncle Roy Hill in the super stock category in NHRA. Matter of fact, runnered up in class to Brett Candice, that close to winning an NHRA Wally at the U.S. Nationals. I'll never get over it. So, and I know Uncle Roy won't either, but with the to Legend guidance, Uncle Roy will be there. Roy Hill's Drag Racing School, the official drag racing school of the ADRL. Roy Hill and Mama Jan and the puppies, Joy and Cracker Jack, will be there. And of course, Kim, the legendary do everything. You can't give Kim a title. Kim Hauser, there is no title to give her. She just does everything for Roy Hill's Drag Racing School. RoyHillsDragRacingSchool.com if you want to get your license, whether it's in a junior dragster, top sportsman car. If you're driving a pro extreme car and you need some help, Roy Hill has helped more people, from Curtin Warren Johnson to Greg Anderson, Jason Line, Kurt Busch of NASCAR fame learned how to drive a pro stock car with Roy, and countless others. I mean, I could go on for days, from Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, all the way down to the junior dragster classes, and every sportsman and pro class in between. Roy's trained most of them. But come on, Tucci. You don't have to type a book. I just want to know. Give me a reference, and I'll bring it out, because I know whatever memory you're going to share, I was involved in. That's the cool thing. So, but Uncle Roy will be down there watching his protege, KJ Nowling, drive for the Godfather, Bobby Don, in Category 6, that awesome V6 Buick. Looking for a tuner right now. Need to replace a tuner. Things didn't go well with the last tuner. It is what it is. Water under the bridge, as they say. But if you know how to tune bad, fast, badass V6 twin turbo motors, shoot me an email, info@adrltour.com, info@adrltour.com, and we'll see if we can't maybe get you hooked up with the Godfather and the staff over at Godfather Racing. And who knows, you could be tuning a car to the winner's circle at Drag Stock 2023, Rockingham Dragway, September 29th and 30th. Cannot wait to get down there. What say you, Dr. Fierce?
It's going to be great. And yes, there's one hell of a storm coming in.
Yes.
Just be prepared.
Hurricane adrenaline.
All the talk, everything.
Making landfall.
Everything we're
leading up
everything
to
in
it.
the mix, everything that's in the mix right now.
And don't forget that that missile from Mississippi, Jason Scruggs potentially making. I say potentially because I haven't spoken to him to confirm, but the word on the street is he's coming, and those shark infested waters are about to have another great white swimming around. Jason, the history that he has at Rockingham Dragway and drag stock specifically, way back in the day, broke the 200-mile-per-hour barrier for the 8th mile in a door slammer. All right, Tucci. Besides the guy running down the hill to the top of the cattle gate, the scariest was the DeSerbo fire. That's true. Flying through the fence. That was absolutely crazy. Had to be a favorite going into the 40s on used tires, and he took out the Rickia's trash. Yes, great. Frankie Taylor did go into the 40s back in the day after taking some parts, I believe, out of former Pro Extreme World Championship and original Chicago Outlaw Mike Rickia Sr. But I was going back to, I thought you were going to say this guy running down the hill, and we'll close with a great story. It's the end of the night. We're in the winner's circle. I'm about to hand my son KJ his first Minuteman trophy his second Minuteman trophy. I'm sorry. He had won the weather delayed summer drags earlier that year. We finished him up at Motor Mile Dragway, Sheeler Motor Mile Dragway in Virginia. KJ is standing there. I'm getting ready to do this. And all of a sudden, Tucci flips the mic back on and basically announces one of the greatest tumbles and landings in the history of any sort of gymnastics, tumbling sport. This guy was hell-bent to get one of the banners. Now, what he didn't know is we had somebody up there, the great girls from Tysinger Promotions, Wendy Tysinger's group. I believe Jenny and Whitney were there that particular weekend, and they were rolling up the Flowmaster ADRL banners, which everybody wanted to get their hands on back then. They were rolling them up so that we can give them away in the winner's circle like we so often do, whether it's a $100 bill or a T-shirt or a hat. I mean, we love giving stuff away to our ADRL Nation. And all of a sudden, here comes this cat. He was going to get one of those banners. Well, when you climb over the hill where the actual flagpole is and the rock itself on the other side of that fence, when you do it, the brush, I don't even know what that stuff is. It's a mixture of like pine and I don't know. It's like the thickest, most dense, like flat hedges you've ever stepped in. Somebody could probably tell me what kind of a plant that is, but regardless, he sticks his boot in the first one, and that was all she wrote, bud. His foot comes out of the boot, and then he just proceeds to go head over heels, over head over heels, and Tucci's announcing it all the way down. He's like, oh, and he sticks another one. Oh, my God. Somebody call the ambulance. Don't let the ambulance leave. He tumbles over the wall. He hits the bottom. The concrete wall throws him over into the bike rack. One of his feet go into the bike rack because now he's lost both boots coming down the hill. One of his feet go into the bike rack. He stands up, still holding his beer like a true North Carolinian. He was not letting go of that Budweiser.
He must have been a former Marine.
Tight. Could have been. And the only problem was when he went to stand up, he noticed that when his foot hit that first wall before lodging one into the bike rack, that it had broke his fibula about halfway up, and it was at a 90-degree angle. But let me tell you something about this warrior. His buddies are like, oh, you're fine. Shake it off, you sissy. And they all got him kind of by their arms. And his leg is they're carrying him like to the Ford F-150. His leg is just dangling like that. And I'm like, fellas, easy. I'm like, he's got to go over here. This paramedics with the lights and the doors open. Yeah, that's where he's going. But he was fine. He was fine. He was a man of character. Knew it was his fault. He didn't try some sleazy, shitty, I'm going to sue the track and I'm going to sue the ADRL. Like he said, it was my dumb ass that did it once he started to sober up a little bit, and took him to the hospital, and he was in a boot for probably who knows how long, but he stuck the landing, Al Tucci. I give him a perfect 10 out of 10 on that, on the fall and the landing. So we're about done. Thursday nights. I'm digging it.
Thursday nights, a little different.
8 Eastern, 7 Central. It is approaching 9 Eastern. If you get a chance, go on to stick around on the YouTube channel. Producer Adam had put together a great first shot sort of highlight recap of Dragpalooza. We watched it before the show. Great stuff. Lots of cool highlights, some behind the scenes interviews and different things. So take a peek at that. And hats off to you, Producer Adam. You did a great job editing that video.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of outside your real wheelhouse, but you took it on, and as somebody who in some ways absolutely ain't scared. He ain't scared of nothing. A-team, baby, all the way. You did a fantastic job, and as somebody that does those a lot, I'm overwhelming. I'm proud of you, son.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him. He's growing up, getting so big. Our little baby's getting so big.
Yeah, we gotta end the episode.
I agree with you, Jason Myers. I like the Thursday thing. It's later in the week, and so we're gonna get out of here on time for our first Thursday night show. So with that, thank you, ADRL Nation, for tuning in. Adrenaline, the podcast, live right here on the ADRL YouTube channel and on our Facebook page every single Thursday night from here to infamy and beyond. Adrenaline, the big head Kenny Nowling, Dr. Fierce, on behalf of producer Adam, the entire ADRL family and ADRL Nation, we thank you. Cannot wait. Tucci's telling me I've got an incoming text. Usually when I send a text, it busts up like on Third Rock from the Sun, incoming message from the big giant head. He stuck his thumb up his ass and his elbow all the way down. He did. Tucci, I'm going to read it exactly how you intended it to be read, and we'll close with this. He stuck his thumb up his ass and rode his elbow all the way down the hill. So hopefully some of the juniors that tuned in to see Carly's interview are gone by now, but if not, it's getting to be Adrenaline After Dark. So
Adrenaline After Dark.
We're gonna have to do that someday. That'll be a good time. In the meantime,
Unfiltered.
for kids, Chris Knight, good talking to you, brother. I want to give a shout out to Chris Knight real quick. Jay Ramos, your $100 is on the way with your decals. Chris Knight, your decals and something special is on the way to you. He donated his $100 back. He's like, look, keep it in the budget, give it to a junior. So what we're going to do is we are going to have the Chris Knight Pro Junior Dragster Low Qualifier Award, $100 extra to whoever qualifies number 1 in Pro Junior Dragster at Dragstock. So
yeah, I love it.
Chris Knight giving back to the kiddos and the future stars of the ADRL. So
that's right, paying it forward.
I
love those Rokes.
Love the
Random-
ADRL Nation, man.
random acts of
Loyal.
kindness.
So don't forget, Monday, the long-awaited debut of the Adrenaline Zone online. You'll be able to start picking up some merchandise. I know everybody's been asking about where we can buy. We had some more done, and you'll be able to get your Dragpalooza 2023 event shirts online Monday, 10 a.m.
Monday,
Central,
10.
9 a.m. Eastern, or that would be 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yep.
I don't know. Just check out ADRLtour.com. You should be checking it out anyway, but check it out.
We know you are
For the
getting thousands of
Adrenaline Zone
messages about them.
We are. And we continue to grow ADRL Nation. So love you guys. Have a great and amazing weekend. We hope whatever you do it safe and land on your feet come Sunday night. And we will see you guys back here next week. New channel, same time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. New night, same channel, same channel, same bat time, different bat night.
Different bat night.
Yeah, so we'll be back 1 week from tonight. Actually, that would be 7 days and 23 hours roughly from now. So 6 days, 23 hours.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a Yingling before we came on the air.
Oh, Yingling for your...
A Yingling. My favorite beer. Love Yingling. Yingling.
So good.
Do you love me as much as I love you?
Oh, and also the my new favorite, one of my new favorites, the beer from Texas.
Modelo Especial.
No. I was drinking them.
Shinerbach.
Shinerbach. Boy,
Shinerbach. Shout out to the Texans.
Yep. Good stuff.
All right. We were going to finish on time and then we start talking about beer, and that's okay.
That's all right.
That's okay. We might be
We're
talking
out.
about beer a lot in the future. So with that,
Peace. Chicken
peace.
grease.
God bless. We'll see you next week, ADRL Nation, right here. Adrenaline, the podcast. Big Head Fears. Producer Adam. Out.